So I'm going to preemptively respond to some people who may be wondering where or when am I going to respond to Sam Witwer and his criticisms of The Last Jedi. And I'm really very well aware of what Sam said, and I actually was planning a video on this, but unfortunately some recent events have forced me to do kind of two things. One is a more happy announcement, which is relevant to Witwer, and one is more sad because I don't know if I want the channel to move in the direction, but I don't see any alternative. So let's get right to the topic at hand, which is that Alex Kane, a writer for StarWars.com, the official Disney website for Star Wars, was fired a few days ago, and it seems very clear he was fired because he had a few mild criticisms of The Rise of Skywalker. He made these criticisms public and well known, and apparently was decided that he was let go. Now, some of his articles are still on StarWars.com. As far as I know, they're going to maintain it on there. Also, to be clear, Alex is not suffering financially. He's doing okay. He doesn't need to work for Disney. He's a freelance journalist and he's worked for a lot of papers. I am asking, however, if people could please look up his Twitter, follow him, give him any notes of encouragement, likes or whatever, retweet the story. Because unfortunately it has been reported in a few places, but I was only able to find really one YouTube video, so I really want to bring this more to greater attention. And Alex's politics are perhaps a little left-leaning, and that may not be the politics of the people listening, but I want to be here consistent. Just with Jeremy, I don't support censorship. I don't support censorship on left or right or whatever, and this feels like a prime case. Now, obviously, Alex is a Disney employee, right? He's not owed a job by them. On the other hand, I do think this is a very iffy and problematic precedent for Disney not to allow free criticism of one of their products, Rise of Skywalker, within their own company. And I'm going to place primary blame on Bob Iger. I mean, I'm obviously not saying that Bob himself ordered this or he's even aware. Obviously, he's doing much more important things. This is much lower in terms of his decision making. But there's no doubt in my mind, after Solo flopped in 2018, that Disney was moving in a very, very different direction, and he became much more actively involved. And if some of it, again, I don't know this stuff myself, I can only report what other people tell me, like The Mandalorian, he can be credited with. So if you like the Mando, then Bob, took a part in the Mando, so you can thank him. And if you like other little aspects of Disney Plus or Disney Star Wars, you can definitely thank him. But if that's true, we also have to be critical when it doesn't go well, like Rise of Skywalker, which I personally felt is not a very good film, but I'm actually preparing to do a revisionist review and try to fair-mindedly reassess some of the good points and bad points given the release of the behind-the-scenes documentary, as well as some new information about cutscenes and things like that. And I was hoping to be very open-minded and broad-minded, but this news really puts me in a difficult position because I'm really in a hard place here, because if I'm going to be consistent and be very critical of when the fandom menace or Mauler or Jeremy or whoever makes very problematic claims about Disney Star Wars, it also follows when Disney itself does things that are inconsistent with, principles of free and open debate. I should be very, very critical. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to have a series really related to The Last Jedi, but more precisely to Rian Johnson and his relationship to the Star Wars fandom and universe. And Sam's going to be a part of that. I'm going to call it the Rian Wars. But unfortunately, I do think I will need to be much more critical, not just of Rise of Skywalker as a film, but the politics behind the production of the film, and Alex's firing, unfortunately, is a part of that, because it's not just making the film, releasing the film, but its clear aftermath and legacy is going to be with us for quite some time. And it may not be fair to totally blame Bob. I know people make videos about Kathleen Kennedy, but clearly she's only one of many major players now, on top of Jon Favreau, Filoni, and other people. So it feels very factionalized. But again, Bob is still the head of the company, and even though he's much more inactive, he's clearly still consulted on many decisions. So I'm going to make a new little series called Invalidating the Iger, or Irate Against the Iger. Again, I haven't decided the final title. The Decline of Bobby Ray Skywalker, and that'll be sort of parodic, but also critical look at Rise of Skywalker. So if you notice a kind of change in the tone, being perhaps a little bit more hateful or hate-filled, that's intentional, because I don't think there's an easier way to respond to censorship like this. So 2 new series, unfortunately with a very unhappy occasion to mark them off. So as I said, if you could please try to help Alex in any way you can, I'll try to keep on this story. This has been Star Wars Analyzed on the very complicated politics of censorship in the Disney Star Wars era. If you like the content, please hit the like button and or subscribe. Thank you for listening.